In 2005, a video game beta tester was found dead in his childhood home along with his two roommates. The cause of death was unknown until a mysterious video game was found. Now, the scene of the crime was described as gruesome. The homeowner, a man named Loomis, was found hanging from his foyer. And elsewhere in the house, his two roommates, a young couple, were found slaughtered in their bedroom. They had no chance of survival. Whoever the perpetrator was appeared to get into the house undetected, and it was as though everybody was caught off guard, ambushed even. Yet, the case would remain cold. To make matters even worse, the bodies would continue to pile up. Months after the funeral, a collective of friends in celebration of Loomis's decided to get together to play a game. The game's name? Stay Alive. Now, the eerie thing about this video game, unlike others of the time, was that it wouldn't even allow you to move forward unless you recited this prayer, the Prayer of Elizabeth, which appears to prompt the gamers to conduct some sort of summoning spell. In fact, as each player reads the prayer, or as they read it in unison, the prayer will light up word by word, and only once the players finish the prayer are they allowed to proceed forward in the game. Now, that's not entirely odd, but the strange thing is the setting of the game takes place in New Orleans, the same city that the deaths were happening in. Now, strangely enough, New Orleans is no stranger to strange tales, but the story that unfolds in the game is one of a woman named Elizabeth Bathory. Now, Elizabeth was a wealthy woman, and she put that money to good use by acquiring a plantation called the Garouge Plantation. This was a massive plantation. Think Oak Alley. I'll put the reference right behind me. Now, this plantation was then turned into a finishing school for young girls. And initially, Elizabeth had decent intentions, it would seem, on paper. However, the things she would end up doing to the girls who attended that finishing school were so disgusting and dehumanizing that they were struck from historical records. And after that, the story of Elizabeth Bathory became more myth and legend than truth. People had all but forgotten about her. However, her demise was mysterious and pretty unknown, and she seemed to just fade away with the history books. But that would be until fate forced the past and the future together. You see, Loomis's friends, those who had gathered to celebrate, managed to get their hands on that game. And after they read the prayer that appeared to summon some unknown evil, they would start to experience deaths in their own lives. The weirdest thing about it, though, is that the game they played appeared to play on its own, and the manner in which they died in the game, if they unfortunately met that fate, would be shockingly similar to the way they died in real life. In fact, every single person who managed to get their hands on the game, who recited the Prayer of Elizabeth, who had the misfortune of finding themselves unalived in the games, would find themselves living a relatively short life. And even stranger still is that, again, their deaths in the games would mirror their deaths in real life, or rather, their deaths in real life would mirror their deaths in the game. For example, Loomis, the first victim of the game, innocently died in the game by a hanging. And again, once they found his body in real life, they found him strung up in the foyer. Just like his character here. His two roommates also met a similar fate. They had been slaughtered in the game. Now, strangely, the game appears to cheat, because while you might play the game to try to buy yourself some more time, the game will start to play itself, and you cannot escape your fate, unless you happen to like flowers. Now, not just any flower will do. You see, a carnation will kill you, but a rose will save your life. So if you happen to find yourself in the presence of roses, I would recommend picking up as many as possible. Long stem, short stem, it's irrelevant, so long as they're red. These can save your life from the game's antagonist, Elizabeth. Now, I might not have mentioned this, but it should be noted that Elizabeth was known for her vanity, and part of the reason it's said she did those unspeakable things to those girls was because she was in the pursuit of immortality, eternal youth and beauty, and the best way to get that in her deluded mind was to take it from those who already had it, young, vulnerable children. And so she would do these misdeeds to them, torture them, end their lives early, and in exchange she received this immortality until she was stopped dead in her tracks. You see, Elizabeth was captured in her tower on the plantation, shot 3 times in the head, chest, and stomach. But for an evil that great, it takes a lot to confine it, and she always said she would return. Now, I never thought she would come back the way she did, but I want to know, would you play the game Stay Alive?